All right, here we go. Got all our squash cut up, and it's in our handy dandy French fry cut, which works out good for squash too because we do a lot of stir fry with it. And that's something you need to consider whenever you're uh, freeze drying something. You need to process it to where it's ready to use the way that you commonly use it. If you like sliced squash, well, you might want to do it that way. I actually really like freeze dried squash because we do a stir fry and we don't really uh, add a bunch of water to reconstitute it, rehydrate it, and being it's drier, which that's the way I like it when we cook it, it gives it more texture. So that's ideally the way to do it. Now this might get monotonous because I'm doing this squash video. You know, vegetables are all kind of the same, but a lot of times people search specific vegetables and how to do it. And so anyway, we've got our yellow squash fixed up. We've already went through our cool down. In fact, it's been 21 minutes, which is great. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to load this freeze dryer. Got my handy dandy helper here. She'll put all the trays in there. Now, the freeze drying the squash should take a little bit less time than freeze drying the onions because onions have a whole lot of water. Squash has water, but it's not near like the water that you'd have in onions. So, anyway, we're going to close the drain. We want to make sure that the chamber can build up vacuum. Now I do want to say too, and I didn't mention, but once you thaw out or defrost your chamber, you really need to take and dry it out because if you defrost it, and depends on the angle and stuff, you have a water that stays in it, and whenever you go to start your batch, it's going to take longer because it's going to have to take that water out of the system first. And it's easy enough. All you got to do is you just pull this seal loose. You'll take it off. You slide your tray holder out, and I just hold mine while I'm doing it, and then I take a towel and dry the inside out. Or you could unplug the cable from it and set it aside and then dry it out. And make sure you dry off the top of it. A lot of times you get water up there, and occasionally you'll get a little bit on the shelf. But okay, enough of that. We're going to close that up, hit continue, and it starts freezing. And it's going to start counting for how long it freezes. And here we go. Okay, looks like the process is complete. It took 56 hours and 49 minutes to do this batch of squash. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the vacuum valve, which looks like the vacuum's already let off. And we're going to sample one of these. We'll kind of fill them too. They are feel like they're good and done, but what we're going to do is we're going to warm these trays because we don't want this drawing moisture. Now this will take a few minutes, but we don't want them drawing moisture while they're we're preserving them. And if they're real cold, first thing they do with the humidity down here in the south is they'll start pulling in a little bit extra moisture. All right, we warmed our trays. Now we're going to go ahead and pull these out, and we're going to put them off in here. Try not to make too big a mess. Okay, now we're going to put these in quart Mylar bags. We always use our cannon funnel for this because we want to keep stuff out of the Ziploc seal, and this works good for that. And we're just going to do these now. I'm going to have both hands, so let me finish up this. Okay, we're going to be using 200 cc oxygen sensors in here, or oxygen absorbers in here. Some of these bags we might have a little too full, but anyway, like I always say, keep your oxygen absorbers in a mason jar with the lid tight, and they'll do you good. And this one here doesn't have a tear off area, so we'll just get out the old trusty knife and open them up, and we'll finish filling these up with the oxygen absorbers, and then we'll just put the rest of these in here. Always make sure your absorber test strip is pink. You don't want it purple, so make sure this is starting to turn a little purple because it's open. Now we put this lid on tight. Well, we would, but we got one we forgot. But we put this lid on tight, and these will stay. But make sure you write what they are on the top. Now we're just going to seal these up, and then we're going to use the handy dandy heat sealer and seal it the rest of the way. Okay, we have them all closed up, sealed up. I always say make sure you seal them with your heat sealer because the Ziploc seal is not going to keep oxygen out. We ended up with this load, and ours is a large 5 tray, but we ended up with 10 quarts of squash that is sealed up. Now these just need labeled, because if you don't label them, you're not going to know what's in there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some information you might need. And if you want to see more, you know what to do. Enjoy that gardening experience.